Tyler White. We are going to talk in this video about how to run a bow drill, the techniques, the stance, everything that you need to do. If you have a properly created dry bow drill, you should have success while using these techniques. This is a bow drill that I've used for a long time. It's made out of hardened willow. I've fire hardened it. You can kind of see the flame marks. And my hearthboard and spindle is made out of sagebrush. If you're gonna make it out of sagebrush, you need to find really old, really tall, straight sagebrush. I like to find those out in the far desert. So, I'm gonna try to run this with the first notch. We'll talk about the burn-in process as well, and then show you the techniques that I use. I like to use these itty-bitty kits. Now, you can have bigger kits. I have bigger beginner kits. This is a larger beginner kit that I made a little while ago. Larger kits give you more mechanical advantage. More mechanical advantage gives you an easier time in creating a bow drill, but it also means that you're packing around a big old chunk of wood. This kit is very, very light, very, very small. Realistically, I could have a bow this big, but I like having that mechanical advantage with the bow so I can just go and just bust a coal quick. Sometimes when it's wet, quick is more important than light, all right? So with this kit, I've already got a halfway burnt notch that I'm gonna use. I don't wanna waste that by creating a new hole, but we will talk about the burning process. Essentially what happens with the burning process is you make a point, you burn it down until it's completely black, and that gives you the measurement section to cut out your notch. So let's get a chip here. Let's see if we can bust a coal. Now, one of the techniques that I want to talk about is the proper fitting of the string and the proper adjustment of the kit. A lot of times people will have a problem and they'll just run with the problem and they'll make busting a coal either impossible or longer and harder to do. So right now I can see that this is glassy carbon. Glassy carbon is basically like layers of fine sheets of graphite. It's like it. It's not that, but it's like it. And because of that, it creates lubrication. Lubrication's a problem. So what I want to do here is just kind of cut this little top up and create, it'll look like a wrench. Create these little layers where I've removed that black carbon until I can get down to a point. With the hand drill, I want to remove that point. With the bow drill, I don't, because that point is going to cut in and get us rolling the way we want to roll. Now, on the bottom here, I'm not going to run my knife around in there, because what will happen is it will get lopsided and it will either burn in sideways or bust out the little wings on here. What I am going to do is just add a little bit of sand or a little bit of gravel. Let's take these guys off. Because that little bit of sand or gravel is going to help cut this little base part right here. Let me find something really chunky. That looks kind of chunky. All right, and that grinding action is going to help get this started. So let's set this down here. Now, I know I'm going to get questions about this. My socket for the top here is the ankle bone from a deer. You can use seashells, you can use rocks with holes in them, you can use the hole cut in the back of your knife if it's not wood. You have tons of options. With this bow drill set, the way that I'm going to add or connect this is my right hand and my left hand. I'm going to take the skinny top. In fact, let me point this up a little bit better. Again, it's about maintaining. So I'm going to take the edge off a little bit. Get my top nice and pointy. The reason I want that top pointy is there's less friction, and with less friction gives me more time and more ability to control stuff. So right hand, left hand, spindle is up, I go down and around and make sure that it's on the outside. With this technique or this bow drill kit, this Egyptian kit, I want 3 wraps. So here's 1, 2, and the last one's going to be tight. And 3. I'm going to pack it so that it's all tight and it's where I want it to be. Okay, and then we're going to roll with it. Now I'm gonna put my foot on top of here to control it. I usually like to do this barefoot, but I'm not gonna take my boots off this time. I got my little top socket right here. That's how I'm gonna hold it, just like that, right in the center of my hand. So let's get this positioned right. Now let's talk about legs, okay? I got a 90-degree angle here and a 90-degree angle there so that I can put my weight over the top of this bow drill kit, okay? That is probably the most important thing. The other thing that I want to do is clear out space in the front of where my bow is going to run so that it's not bunking into things, because I'm going to spend a lot of time watching the travel of the bow so that it doesn't do this thing, okay? If I don't bend my elbow, my bow goes up, my bow goes down, and I have issues. So I have to extend out, pull back, extend out, pull back. Let's get this thing warmed up. I'm not going to talk a lot while I'm running the bow because it's a little exhaustive. But what I will say is that you want to warm it up first. Once it's warm and you start to see a little smoke and you hear that cut noise as opposed to the scrape noise, then you'll start to build up char. Once the char is building up or the material is building up, you'll start to see it smoke. You add a little more pressure, barely more speed, and you will start to get smoke from the bottom of that. So essentially what's happening is it's going to fill up and then it's going to compress, and you'll get your little ember as soon as you've got smoke from the bottom. All right, let me move my camera so we can see the bottom of here. I gotta use a bigger socket. Because my kit is so small and creating so much heat, I'm gonna use the bigger cow bone to keep from burning my hand. If I had a bigger spindle, it wouldn't be an issue, but I don't, so we're gonna do this. Nope, didn't ignite. Yeah, it did. Right there. Okay, notice I'm using my hand to blow on this, not my lungs. I gotta drip my sweat in it. The reason I'm using my hand is because my lungs will blow the fine powder out of the way and destroy it. And they also have a measure of wetness or humidity come out of my lungs. My hand gives it just the slightest of breeze, and it gives this little ember the ability to harden all the fibers that I've got here into something usable. So that's the technique for running a bow drill. Nice 90-degree legs. My weight was above it. I used my foot to control the pitch of the hearth board. I watched my tip go level. I extended my elbow. I retracted my elbow. I added pressure with my left hand. I used my leg to stabilize. When I ran into a problem with the smaller ankle bone, I got a bigger one. I could use another chip or whatever it is that I want to do, but I systematically addressed the issues and corrected them. It is a very, very humid day today. As you can tell with all the sweat that's coming off of me, and I was still able to bust a cold pretty simply. Again, this is a sagebrush kit. Sagebrush is a little easier to start fires with. It's my preferred type of kit. But right there is the ember. What you're gonna do now is take this ember, put it in some nesting material, add oxygen, and add it to your fire. All right, that was a simple video on how to run the bow drill kit, the right stances, the right techniques. As a beginner, if you're watching your bow level on the front, and as you get a little bit of smoke, you add just slight intensity. Don't overdo it, you'll blow out. Add slight intensity. It'll fill up that little notch with char, and then as soon as you see smoke coming off the bottom of it, you're done. This is 1/8 of a pie, just short of the center. If this is cut too wide, you're gonna blow the little chunks out. If it's cut too narrow, you won't get enough buildup. So make sure that you cut it 1/8 of a pie, just short of the center. Okay, guys. Hopefully this was valuable to you, and thank you for watching.